Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmos Atom. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. Now, if you haven't seen the previous Atom update, make sure to check that out before watching this one. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of the video. Watch that before watching this one so that you have more context. Now, jumping into the daily chart here on TradingView, we have our Fibonacci retracement setup that I've had for more than a year now, probably. And as you can see, the yellow arrows point towards the swing low of the Fib retracement and towards the swing high. So once we printed this high back in May of last year, I was able to take this as the swing high. And from there, we got our golden ratio here at $8.80. And that is exactly where we dipped 3 times over here, as you can see. So we tested this area 3 times, and each time you tested this golden ratio at $8.80, you had a little retracement to the upside. The first one, then you had the second retracement, which was a little weaker. Then you had another retracement to the golden ratio, and that's when you broke through the 786, printed new all-time highs, and the rest is history. So what has happened here? If I start zooming in a little bit more on the daily chart here, you can see that with this pullback, we did lose the golden ratio that we held as support the last summer's dip. Okay, so we were in a falling wedge here. We broke to the downside to the next level below, which is the 0.5 at $5.88. So this is our next strong support level. And as you can see, we simply bounced off this area right now. I did give you this as a buy, for multiple weeks now. And from this point, we have managed to go up 47%. So what I think is going on here is we are potentially going to have a very, very similar fractal to what we're having over here. So potentially right now, we did lose the golden ratio, but we haven't seen a back test of resistance. And I did tell you this for multiple weeks. You come in here, you buy at the bounce, and if you're looking to swing trade, you can take some profits at the golden ratio, and then you can buy back in once we start retracing. Because even if we are breaking out, okay, even if, let's say, this is the final phase of the bear market, usually when you start retracing like this and you start breaking key resistance areas, you still do come back down to where you retraced from and at least print a higher low, okay? And that's when you break out and go absolutely parabolic. But even if you missed this over here, you still have an opportunity to buy in at $6 and cheaper. And to be honest with you, I do think there is a very strong possibility that we could even wick all the way down here to the 0.382 at $4, just slightly below $4. As you can see, we do have some support on this zone. We have wicked to this area previously back in September of 2020. So this is something that we should keep an eye on. And in my opinion, if Bitcoin does start dropping back to our technical targets that we have set in the Bitcoin videos, then, if we see Bitcoin go below $16,000, then I think $4 over here is something that we may see for Cosmos Atom. But in the grand scheme of things, I do think we're coming in for a retracement to backtest some sort of resistance level. Now, we did break through the 20 EMA here on the daily chart, which is the yellow line over here. And you are potentially going to start attacking the 55 EMA, which is over here at $1.23. So potentially, you could start coming up like this. You get rejected by the 20 or by the 55, I should say, and then you pull back and you either hold the 20 as support or you lose it and you come back to the 0.5 fib. Okay, that's the good scenario, to be honest with you. Also, you pay attention to this $12.45 price because this is a strong resistance. This was our initial target out of the falling wedge, which we ended up invalidating, obviously, over here once we broke down June 10th. But this is still the previous local high. So potentially, if we start a nice little relief rally here, we could end up rallying into that resistance and coming back down, at least for support on the golden ratio if things are good. But with the upcoming potential recession in the US, I can't really say that things are good at the moment. And that is good for me personally because Well, not in a bad way, obviously, but it just means that I can buy all my altcoins at cheaper prices. And that is exactly what I'm doing right now. If you want to get my trade alerts and a lot more exclusive content, my Patreon is linked down below in the description. It's a great way to support me and a great way for you to get more content. Now, let's switch over to the daily RSI here. It may be a little messy, so I'm just going to remove all of them, all of the support and resistance levels just for now so that it's easier for you to follow. So the white trend line over here, as you can see, we have tons of back tests of support. And right here, you're breaking it as resistance. Now, this could potentially be a fake out, right? And you come back down below and you potentially land on another support line. But the fact that we're breaking through this resistance, which was a previous support over here, is a very good indicator. Then we add in the pink trend line over here. We have bounced from here multiple times as well. So you have to keep an eye on this trend line as well. If you start capitulating down, this is potentially where you can land at approximately 36 on the index. Next up, if I add in the next trend line over here, as you can see, this is another horizontal resistance trend line that we have been, actually not horizontal, diagonal resistance trend line that we have been rejecting. We have been rejected from twice. You had a little fake out over here, and right now you're breaking through it. So this is a good sign as well. At least I would look for a pullback all the way to this white trend line to back test it as support. Okay, bringing back the orange trend line over here, as you can see, this is the orange trend line, and we did have multiple resistance touches off of this trend line before we did break out here. So if we do start pulling back down, you have the orange trend line. But you know, you don't really need that many resistance trend lines. This is just what I like to do to see all the potential outcomes and all the potential levels. But mainly, I would focus on the two white trend lines and the pink trend line. The orange ones aren't really that important. And I do also want to switch over to the Binance website right now. Moving over to the weekly chart on Binance's website, you have this resistance trend line here at $9 and actually $10 roughly, because this is the low that we printed here in June of 2021. This is where we closed our candles. So this would be a good area to backtest as resistance before we are headed to another pullback potentially. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. You also have the 786 Fib retracement over here. If I bring out the price tag, $11.40 is the price. So here you can see that we do have the swing low as the June low, and we have the swing high as our all-time high, which is slightly different from the previous fib that we had. So here the 1.272 is sitting at $4.88, something that we could potentially land on because we do see support over here on this level at $4.80. So if you want to set up some buy limit orders, that would be a great area in my opinion. And you have to be buying these strong moves to the downside, not these green moves to the upside. Okay, that's the basic philosophy, you know, about investing. If you're investing a long term, then really it doesn't really matter where you buy. So even $8 is fairly cheap for Cosmos, but I'm going to be buying in more at around about $5-6 personally. So look for a rejection off the yellow trend line or the 786 here. You could even potentially go all the way up to $15.30, but I highly doubt that. We haven't back tested any of these levels as resistance, which is something that I'm which is something that I would like to see, obviously. But if we did that, I do think a lot of people would start buying in, thinking this is it, we're out of the woods, we're flipping bullish, but then you just pull back regardless because the markets aren't going to recover this quickly. All of this FUD is going to bring the markets down even further, in my opinion. If we have bottomed out, great. If not, well, I'm good either way because I have bought in during this dip, but hopefully you guys have had an opportunity to buy in as well. What we are potentially looking here is for a backtest of resistance of the 20 EMA on the weekly chart. That is something that we need to keep an eye on because we lost the 20 EMA here in April and we haven't backtested as resistance ever since, and we need to see that. So just draw this out on your chart. If we take a look at the weekly RSI, we did dip into the oversold here, so this was a very good buying opportunity, and right now we are starting a recovery, and potentially we could see a recovery all the way up to this previous symmetrical triangle that we had all the way back to back test this as resistance, and then we could see a pullback. So yeah, this is just what I'm thinking here. We even lost this support here that we bounced from in March of 2020. And yeah, things are looking good long term for Cosmos. I'm very bullish on this project, one of my favorite projects. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. The links are in the description. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.